Hey Trader, Shane from GT Futures and FX. I'm going to take you through two of our coffee strategies, PT10 and SN99. Now we give the strategies a name and number because we want to make sure that we can identify the strategy, because we've got a number of systems that we trade. Obviously on coffee we trade a few systems, so these are two that we're running. One is a pivot trader strategy and the other one is a breakout strategy. So we're going to have a look at both today and see how they're tracking, but we'll start with the pivot trader, so PT10 on the 45 tick, and you can see here. Let's jump into the strategy itself. This is the weekly results so far. It was off. It did turn off in late January, early Feb because it had a drawdown, but it's bounced back nicely. So it powered out of February with a $9,000 winning week, and that turned the system back on, and since then it's been onwards and upwards. So you can see last week it pulled 2,500, the week before 7,000. It came off that stellar week where we had a $9,000 recovery week. That was awesome. So the reason why I like this strategy so much is because it's got the ability to add positions to a winning trade. So if you've got a winning trade and you've got some good momentum and the trend's running your way, then you can actually scale into the trade, which is that perfect position sizing, because it allows us to compound our winners. Rather than doing that reverse position sizing where we're scaling out and taking profit, we're actually adding to a position, building the momentum and the profit in the position, and you can see there it does a really good job of doing that. So once you get a trade that is in a winning position, you can add additional positions to that strategy. So it's really good at doing that, and you can see the performance as I mentioned before. Let's have a look at the monthly stats. The monthly stats have been consistent. We've started off with January 7K, and that typically is where we're sitting. February was fantastic at 15. We're at 2.5 in March, so the goal obviously for March is to get that back up to about 7. So hopefully we have a great week this week on coffee, and it's reflected in our strategy and our performance numbers. Now so that's PT10, that's tracking really well. The other system that we run on coffee is the breakout strategy. That's kind of a very consistent system. It doesn't take as many trades as the pivot trader, and if we go to the weekly stats here, you'll see that it's really hasn't had too many losing weeks since the start of the year. So on the 18th, that week of the 18th, it was down 200. Then last week it was down $1,000, but bounced back beautifully. Or sorry, 2 weeks ago, last week with 2,600. Fantastic recovery there. So it is tracking nicely. Doesn't take a lot of trades, which is good. We like that. The average trade net profit is nice and high. You can see our max drawdown there is at 3,600, which is about the same as the pivot trader, and you can see that the average trade net profit is $283. The win rate's 46%. And up the top here, our profit factor is 2.12. If we jump into our other strategy though, and we'll go to the pivot trader here, and we have a look at our stats here on the pivot trader, you'll see that the profit factor is 2.64. The win rate's lower because we're trading and we're taking more break-even trades, so that'll knock the win rate down. The average trade net profit is higher at 322. And the drawdown is around about the same. So they've got very similar drawdowns. But if you have a look at these stats or the actual trades, the losing trades are coming when we're making winning trades on our breakout strategy. So if you have a look at here, the 2nd of Feb, we pulled in 2.8 there. And that was a losing week on the pivot trader. The other was the 25th of the 1st, negative 1,400. So on the breakout strategy, that was actually the 25th was a winning week and the 2nd was a winning week. So these two systems are tracking well together. Obviously you need a larger account to trade both of them, but you can see there that when one has a bad week, the other one kind of is offsetting the losses there. So together they're a very powerful combination. So guys, that's a quick recap on our coffee strategies. Two really good ones there for our top 10, and we'll look forward to having a good week this week, and we'll see how they track this week. Cheers.